Welcome to this week of Get Fixed the podcast. Coach Cam, Coach George, Coach Austin, what's going on?
Yo, we back.
What's up? Another week.
Man, we got a special guest in the building, man, a kid that we've known and pretty much watched grow up. Jahiem Peake, man, introduce yourself to everyone listening and our viewers, man. Introduce yourself.
I'm a senior at St.Vincent-St High School. I played for the Akron Titans growing up. When I got too old for the Titans, I moved over and played 2 seasons at South. Now I'm a wrestler and team captain of the football team at St. V.
Man, how old are you, man? Tell everybody how old you are.
I just turned 18.
18.
Freshly legal.
You driving now, though?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
man.
remember you from a little kid, man.
So before we get into talking about you and on the football field, man, let's dive into some more personal things, man. So we're just gonna get right into it, man. I know George has been dying to ask you some of these questions. So George, man, what you got for Jahiem right now?
Yeah, I wanted to know how was your experience at St. V, and what was your main reason or the ultimate decision you made to go there?
My experience at St. V was different. It shocked me at first coming from a public school, only knowing public schools, and I kind of got there and got hit in the mouth by like, these kids aren't getting kicked out of class, they're not missing school, they're getting stuff turned in on time, and I really struggled with that for my freshman year and halfway through my sophomore year, and then one day I woke up and was like, I got to catch up, and like this is the path I want to be on. And it was the reason I wanted to go to St. V. Is I knew in middle school I couldn't be around those kids, and I couldn't continue to keep getting in trouble and keep getting kicked out of class. And that was really my ultimate decision of why I chose to go to St. V. Is because I knew it was a better route out for me instead of going to public schools.
That's what's up.
It was easier to get in trouble.
Yeah, because you was a little trouble kid back then.
You know,
What's the classroom environment like, man? Just describe that a little bit more, a little more detail about the differences between going to a public school versus a private school, because I know college was kind of like that for me. Going to a private school versus a public school in college versus inner city versus that. So explain that a little bit more.
Well, like the classes now is like, you got a really diverse mix of kids. You got some kids that live in my neighborhood that at night you hear gunshots, and then you got other kids that live in multi-million-dollar homes, and those are really different backgrounds to have. Of like me personally, like my dad, it's like really been like, you're on your own, and it's you figure out what you want to do, and if you don't want to go to school, that's on you. If you don't want to do your homework, that's on you. And then you got kids in my school that their parents are like down on their back of, why did you miss 1 point on this assignment? Why did you miss 1 point on that? So I think that's the biggest difference from like public school to private school. It's like the level of effort the parents put in and stuff behind it. And you could tell when talking to kids like what their mindset's like of, if are they free to do whatever they want, or like are their parents really strict on what they do every minute of the day.
Oh, that's a huge difference.
Yeah, that's a huge difference, man.
Yeah.
Like I said, man, I know me in college, just like coming from Bookdo and being that majority in the classroom, then going to Hiram with a smaller number of kids, and now I'm the minority in the class. I know that was a culture shock for me at 18. So going into high school as a 13, 14-year-old, that's really a little overwhelming, and I know that just from a personal experience. I can only imagine how I would have reacted to something like that at 14 versus 18, because it scared me at 18. So 14 in your mind frame, and what's going on in your life, what you're actually focused on at that time, to see where you are now, man, that's
a blessing.
That's a blessing to see, and that's good to hear, man.
Hey, so I remember that I seen you was working with like a dummy or a fake dummy or something, and come to find out you was part of this what was it, National Forum? Tell us more about it. What was it, the National Youth Leadership Forum for Advanced Medicine and Healthcare? Tell us about that. Didn't you go to a camp or something like that?
I went to 2 camps, and I don't know why, but it's drawing a blank on what they're actually called. They're mannequins. Let's start there. They're surgical mannequins. They're not dummies.
Yes.
But
that's my dude.
That was something I was blessed to be able to do because I went to St. V. I went to St. V and it was a culture shock like we just talked about, and a lot of people were getting my ears when my grades were starting to slip. And it's like, you got to join clubs. You got to meet other people. And I knew ever since I was a kid I wanted to go in healthcare, so I joined our Future Medics Club. And our Future Medics Club, we meet once a month. We have speakers, and the lady really noticed that I was like serious about it, and she nominated me for that first camp. And I went to St. John's University in New York.
Oh, that's what's up.
And it was the National Youth Leadership Forum on medicine. It was just like a basic camp, and they picked the top 300 kids out of their applications to go. And I went, and it was fun. It was like 9 or 10 days long. And I went home, and I was like, I want to do it again, but I want to do it on a bigger scale. So I started doing more research, and I found out they had the second one, which was the National Youth Leadership Forum on Advanced Medicine at Johns Hopkins. And the way they marketed that camp and promoted it was like, they said that was 1/10 of medical school, and it was 10 days, and I swear it was the longest 10 days of my life.
1/10. You got to do something you love to do. So that's what you're gonna do when you go to college.
Yeah, I definitely want to go into the medical field.
Do you know exactly what you want to do with it, or?
I know I want to work in pediatrics. I know I want to work with kids. I volunteer at Children's Hospital currently. I know that's where I want to do. What I want to do is work with kids. What exactly what I'm doing in healthcare field, I don't know, but I know it will be with kids hopefully, and I don't know exactly where I'll end up.
Yeah, man, that's good. I know it caught my eye, and the way healthcare is talked about now.
And that's a big field
it's,
too.
It's a huge field, and it'll always be something that we could call you about if it's something that we don't understand about whatever's going on right now. It's always good to have in ear. I know with politics, I'm not really into politics, but I got a buddy of mine who listens frequently, and I'll just text him about politics, like give me the Spark Notes version of what's going on right now.
Yeah.
so I know,
So get some weird phone calls in a couple years. We're gonna be like, hey, we got a question.
He'll dumb it down for me. But let's again, before we get into the football stuff, man, tell us about wrestling, man. I know you're a pretty good wrestler. I know you've been down to state a few times, man. Tell us a little bit about wrestling and what's your goals for this year.
Wrestling was just something I tried. George W. as a kid, I was the most uncoordinated kid there was. And in 7th grade, I was like, I'm gonna go try to make the basketball team. The coach was like, no, you're not. And I make the basketball team, and I was like, I need something to do. So I was like, the wrestling team practiced in another gym. Let me go try that. Went on my first match, slammed the kid on his neck. Basically all she wrote. I won 2 city championships in middle school. Wrestling, I went to high school. I was like, these dudes good. Do I really want to do it? High school, I didn't make the varsity lineup. We didn't have a JV, so I just practiced.
Okay.
Practice. And the guy that was in my weight class took 5th or 6th at state and practiced, and really just got beat on by him every day. Like, it sucked, but it made me better in a way.
It definitely made you better.
That's a big learning experience.
Yeah, my sophomore year, I cracked the starting lineup, and it was like, man, like we wrestled one of the toughest schedules in the state of Ohio, and it's not like I wrestled my whole life, so I wasn't really that good at first, but it was basically what our Coach Lester, he's like, look, you go out there or we give up a free 6 points. I understand you're not going to win, but go out there and try your hardest, don't get pinned, and just help your team. So my job was basically not to get pinned and give up that 6 points. And I was good at it.
Right.
And then the season moved on. And that year we actually made it down as a team, down to the Team Dual States. And we're facing this team, I think Hamlin Ross or something like that. And my match comes up. It's a tight match. And they're like, oh, he about to lose. I did end up losing, which it doesn't matter. Usually I lose big time. I just don't get pinned. I lost by 1 point. Turned the match. We lost the duel and all, but I think that was the proudest moment I've had wrestling, even though I lost, is because kid was ranked top 10 in the state. I lost to him by 1 point. My season ended the week after that when I got disqualified for slamming the kid on his neck at sectionals. And I was like, man, it sucked. And I was like, all right, on the football. And then came back to wrestling last year, and I pushed myself, and I was like, I want to make it down to districts. I want to make it down to districts. And everyone's like, oh, you might make it down to districts, and it might happen. It'll be lucky. I made it down to districts. I placed second at sectionals, top 4 goals. I went down to districts. I was 1 match away from placing at states. Making it down to states, which sucked in a way in the moment. But after I went back and thought about it, I was like, no one expected me to be there. I wasn't ranked.
Right. You wrestling now, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I was gonna say, don't stop on that, man.
I beat a few ranked kids. So now my ultimate goal is, it's not just to make it down to states this year, it's to make it down and place top 8.
Yes, sir.
And I think I'm going to be able to do that, definitely coming off this football season.
Yeah, but you got an incredible work ethic, bro, and an incredible drive. Even since I know you as a kid, you always been one of them wiry, fired up guys that, always, man, you going regardless of what, you giving your best effort. And for you, we've seen it. And I think the St. V family has seen it, your growth overall as a kid and as a young man, and overall as an athlete. Because I wasn't for sure when I seen you at defensive end, bro. Like high school and people, you was dogging them, but now you doing your thing, man. Congratulations and keep it up too.
Yeah, man. I know, like they were talking about your drive, man. I know I've noticed it the last few years. Like you're a totally different person when you put that helmet on. It's like. It's nonstop. It's all business. Sometimes you ruffle people's feathers.
You're supposed to.
Yeah, you're supposed to.
Yeah, supposed to. It's
and I've seen people try to, if you don't get you to say stuff back, and you just go about your business like it never. Yeah, like it never happened. But now we're gonna just get in, more about football. So this is your senior year, man, and beginning of the year, man, it was some turmoil over there, and I know a lot of us on the outside looking in, we talked about it, and we just wanted to know, man. So with everything that transpired with Terrence and Jamatius leaving, and some other kids decided not to play football, man, how did you handle that, and how did your team handle that? I know we only know what we see. We can see what's on social media with coaches and what they say about it, and how players respond and react to it on social media. But how do you handle it, specifically?
With the transfers we had in the beginning of the summer, it hit us hard. But we sat down as a team day after it happened. I was like, look, it don't matter if we got 70 kids in this locker room or we got 48 kids in this locker room, which we have 48 kids. We gonna put the best 11 kids on the field, and we gonna fight as a family. And that's what we did all year long.
A lot of that credit go to you too, because if you look
captain.
at that, because if you really look at that team, I got to see y'all against Hoban, and I'm looking at you walking out there and playing. Even when y'all down, you were still giving it your all. So a lot of that success not only goes to the coaches, but your leadership abilities too. Though.
Yeah,
because you can see it. You was definitely the one person I seen on the field constantly. You know what I'm saying? No matter what the situation was, you was definitely, being a leader out there, man.
Especially with you, Luke, and Savion, man. It's it was really good to see how y'all, bounce back after all that. Because that's a lot to deal with, especially in this social media era, where y'all can see what everyone's opinion is and how everyone's going to view a situation. So,
what drove us with the social media was everyone was like, oh, they lost their starting running back, they lost their starting fullback, and they got this white kid that's a sophomore that they claim is good, but he's not fast. They're not going to be able to do anything. Everyone thought we were going to be 2-8.
And Logan got hurt.
Which was a big thing.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, Logan got hurt.
Yeah, I forgot about
Logan got hurt. We knew, and we sat down as a team, and we were like, we got 48 kids on this roster. Some kids' job is going to be to play that role and just help out at practice. Some kids' job is just going to be fill a space in a game. And some kids' job on the team was going to be to pull everyone across the finish line.
Y'all found your identity.
Yeah,
so
that's
we
exactly
knew what we were
we
going to have to do. We knew the games were going to be 4-quarter games. But at the end of the day, we had to fight. The seniors had to pull the team. We had to pull them. We had to pull them across the finish line. There was no, oh, I had a good game. It doesn't matter. is I have to have an even better game to help the team be good, and I have to lead this team.
You can tell somebody was listening to their coach when he was talking, because that sounds just like, I don't know if you want to ever coach, bro, but what you just said sounds exactly like a coach was telling his team, and y'all heard the message every week.
That's
you know
all
what I'm
we
saying?
preach.
That's big.
That's all we preached all off season is we're gonna have to pull each other across the finish line, and we're gonna have to fight as a family. And our biggest test came week 1, playing Massillon on the road, and they came out and they're like, they exposed our weaknesses, and we knew in the locker room after the game, we were like, things gotta get fixed, we gotta get back to work. We came out, we beat Wash, and then we had another huge test against East. We came out and we had to fight. It was a 4-quarter fight.
So tell me about you play defensive end. You know, how much do you weigh?
183.
So you're definitely an undersized defensive end. I was an undersized running back when I played, but you know, how did you handle that being undersized defensive end, playing that position? You know, I know you had to go big safety in that practice and stuff like that. How was that?
Well, Savion sweet. Let's start there. But, the one thing I love to hear is you play defensive end. You too small. Like, there's nothing better I can hear when someone tells me I'm too small. And to every coach that ever said that to me, to every fan, I said, come watch me play. I knew every play that I was lined. Don't matter what team I lined up against, was not one tackle going to be smaller than me. Was I'm going to be anywhere near the size of any tackle. And I lined up, and I knew I had to show them all game. I was going to hit them, and I was going to keep hitting them. I was going to keep hitting them. And I beat them all the way down, and then went off the whole second half. I was a quiet player in the first half. Didn't make really many tackles. The tackles was a lot bigger than me, a lot stronger than me. But I knew I was going to last longer, and I was going to have a lot more drive and fight than they were.
Respect that. Respect that right there. You guys finished 8-3 this year. Like you said, a lot of people didn't expect that. But you guys, you know, willed as a team and made it to the week 11, and I made it to the state playoffs. Personally, you know, you're on the top 5 of the all-sack list at St. Mary's. You have Aaron Atkinson, Tavares Julius, Trevante Julius, Dante Booker, Romeo Travis, and yourself.
Career-wise, you got 24.5 sacks, man.
That's what's up.
Yeah, 14.5 this year, right? 14.5 this year.
That's what's up. Congratulations, man. That's what's up.
What does that, being on that list with those type of names, what does that mean to you?
I don't really know how to answer that question of what it means to me, but all I know is that everyone on that list, if you ask anybody that knows them or any St. V coach, they were the hardest worker on the team. The Atkin boy, he won 2 state championships in wrestling. He was a hard worker. He came and talked to us before before the East game. Our D-line, you know, our D-line was good this year.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, he wanted to come see it. And we knew we had to be the hardest working unit on the team. So, I mean, I can't take all the credit myself of having all the sacks. It's because not all of them was because I beat the offensive lineman off on the first step. A lot of them were coverage sacks. And everyone thought our DB sucked. I'm just going to be real. A lot of them were coverage sacks. And, I mean, really, it just shows being on that list it's a bunch of hard workers.
I just know, you know, looking at, you know, some of these guys like Junius and you know, Dante Booker and Romeo Travis, even though I've heard Rome complain that, you know, 5 of his sacks weren't counted. But then if you look more at the list, you got guys like Sheon Cotton, who was All-American. You know, you got Lawrence Wilson. I don't know if you know Lawrence Wilson, but Lawrence was probably the biggest defensive end out of all of them.
Yeah.
Ended up at Ohio State. So you look at guys like that, and and I see, you see you, but everyone on this list was damn good.
Yes,
like everyone, for you to be mentioned with all these guys,
that's great company.
That's great company, and I don't think you're gonna realize it now. I think maybe 5 years from now you'll realize it. But for me, as long as I've been around, and I've seen a lot of these guys. I know I actually played against Lawrence. And outside of Robert Rose from Glenville, he's probably the biggest defense end I saw in my high school career. I mean, I remember when I saw him at Walsh compared to when I saw him when he transferred to St. V. He was huge. So for you, to be on that list, I think is something you should be really proud of, and just cherish that moment for the rest of your life, man, for real.
Especially being in the 180s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What these guys did.
I mean, it was three Ohio State players on this list. That you're on the list.
One reason these got drafted too. They know free agency.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's something you should be proud of for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah. You in the time that I've known you, you've been a very, very coachable kid. What was one thing that you learned from Coach Watt and Coach Nichols?
Coach Watt's biggest thing was always give your all. He was the fired up coach. He was gonna run out in the tunnel with you. Coach Watt was always he had the fire. But he always give all 100 you got, everything you got. That was what I would probably learn from Coach Watt. From Coach Nichols, he had a lot different perspective. His biggest thing were being men, not being boys, not being individuals, being men and being teammates. That's what I learned mostly from Coach Nichols.
Oh, that's what's up. That's what's up.
If you were describing yourself to a college coach who's recruiting you, what would you say about yourself?
I remember you talking to a college coach that's recruiting you, so hopefully if he is giving you, don't be humble yourself. You can be humble a little bit, but
I mean, first you got to watch my highlight tape.
We already watched that.
That tells it all. You can watch my highlight tape. Most of the plays I make, either I'm beating them to the ball, or I'm chasing you down from behind. But no matter what, I'm gonna give you my all every play. Don't care if I'm getting thrown on my face every play. I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna go 100% every play, no matter what. That's what I'm gonna tell a college coach. I'm not gonna back down to anybody. I don't care how big you are. I don't care how good you are. I done played against big name tackles that supposed to go against going to Ohio State, going different places, but they've all given up sacks.
That's what's up. That's what's up. I like that.
Yeah, and like I said, man, when I watch you play, you just remind me of a really blue collar player. You don't wear gloves, you don't wear visors, no tape. It's just like I'm on the field, with my lunch pail, and I'm going to work. So that's something I always kind of admire. So man, let's recruit, man. What are your college choices right now? What's next for Jahiem Peake on the college side?
I really don't know. I got a few D3 schools, a few D2 schools looking at me. Robert Morris wants me to walk on there. I have an offer from Edward Walters College
In Florida.
That's what's up. What's that? That's D2? NAIA?
I believe in that.
Yeah. That's you understand all how that worked too with the
Yeah.
partial Scott. Obviously, he's listening to the shows.
But I really just want to go somewhere. If I want to play football, it doesn't matter. I want to go somewhere that wants me, not just wants me to be a fill on the team. But at the same time, if I don't have the opportunity to play at the next level, which I think I will, I've already had my backup plan set.
That's what's up.
I've already applied to a few schools. I've already been accepted to a few. I'm getting my backup plan set just in case I don't play football in school. So I plan on having both routes covered before Christmas break. We're out for Christmas break.
Cool.
And then
That's what's up. That's what's up.
Before we get off of this, real quick, I I coached against you, watched film on you and your team, and your defensive end stuff didn't stick out to me. Your special teams effort did. Punt, especially kickoff. I think you might have made almost every tackle on kickoff in those games that we watched. So never forget that in your spiel to talk to those college coaches, and I'm pretty sure your coaches will talk to them about that. But that is a big key to success and to getting on the field in college early. It's playing special teams, and by bar none, you were one of the best out there that I watched on film this year of getting down there and making a play for your team. How do you feel about playing special teams?
The way we coach it at St. V is special teams is the first play of whatever offensive defensive series. On kickoff, it's the first defensive play. I'm a defensive player. I'm gonna put us in a better situation. On punt return, that's setting our offense up. I can't catch. So I don't play offense, so I would put them in the best situation possible. I know I was what they call a special teams try hard at practice too, because I'm gonna get on scout team and I'll make you work. And it didn't really hit me of how hard I tried on special teams until we played Bookdo, and Baby returned a punt for a touchdown, but stepped out of bounds. And when you watch the film, I blocked 4 people on that play.
I gotta
you know we can see that.
I gotta see.
We have access.
See that.
It was the lead blocker down the field that blocked the last guy before he stepped out of bounds. So I mean, when you look at plays like that, you just gotta want to put your team in the best situation possible. And coaching and watching football, crazy things can happen on special teams.
Definitely.
So I made sure on kickoff nothing happened. When we kicked off with you guys and Marion thought he was gonna run that one back, I was the one down there tackling him on the 4-yard line after running like 300 yards in the field.
That's crazy.
Yep.